don't hesitate to let me know in the comment section. Now, to ensure that you put everything you learned into practice, good evening, everybody. Wow, we finally made it to Create 30, day 30. Please let me know if you can hear me, if you can hear me loud and clear. Just confirm in the chat if you can hear me. And let me see some celebratory emojis. If you have joined us so far, I'm so glad to have you. Welcome, 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 welcome. It's our grand finale, and today we're going to go through a couple of things. We're going to start with a Q&A session. I think it's a very good way to wrap up this amazing program. We're going to start with a Q&A session, and then we'll talk about my experience with Create 30 so far. I'm sure you'll be glad to hear that it's been an amazing journey. And then finally, we're going to, I'll leave that. I'll leave that for the last, I'll leave that for you to discover yourself. Creativity day 30. We're going to just start out with thank you so much, thank you, I appreciate it. All right, we'll start off with some Q&A questions, and we'll just start with that. Let me know if you can hear me. All right, so since my questions haven't synced, that's bad. Alright, I have to read the questions off my PC. Why haven't they synced? Let's see. By the way, while you're here, just share the link. Alright. So we're going to start with, I'm going to have to read the questions off my PC because they haven't synced to my phone. But yeah. Alright, so the first question says, very interesting question. How do you cope with low engagement as a beginner creator? How do you cope with low engagement as a beginner creator? So I think about this two ways, right? Engagement is basically a report card, right? When you start out as a creator, the thing is that your engagement is a report card of how you are doing, right? It's like when you're in school, you carry out the school activities, you write tests, you write exams, blah blah blah. At the end of the day, you get a report sheet. That's the same way engagement actually does. Engagement is basically how well do people receive the content you're putting out, right? And the measure to which people receive the content you're putting out is dependent on how much valuable they find it, right? So there are three possibilities, right? Number one, it's possible that you're not good enough. Scratch that. It's possible that your content is not good enough, right? And good is very subjective, right? But it's possible that your content does not, help people to engage with the content, right? It's not easy to consume. It doesn't tend to their needs, right? So people's times are valuable, and therefore you have to know that if your content is not good enough, then you just have to improve, right? And there's no shame in starting at a point where your content is not good enough. I don't think you should attach your self-worth to how good your content is, right? Nobody gets great at something on the first day. You won't expect to get great on the first day. So that's the first thing. Is either it's not good enough, right? Number two is either it's very valuable, but you're not packaging it well. Do you understand? For example, for a YouTube creator, no matter how good the content you create is, if it doesn't have a good title and thumbnail, if it's not clickable, nobody will get. It can as well just be a blank video, because nobody is going to get to that point of watching it, right? And then number three, it's possible that you're good enough, your packaging is good, but it is just a matter of waiting for the right time. Do you understand? Because it is possible to be very good, and the opportunity has not just, someone says success is when preparation meets opportunity. So if you have prepared, you're in a preparation stage, you have been prepared, and you're creating quality stuff, and it's high quality. What you just need one good break, one person to discover your video, or one kick of the algorithm, and you get discovered. So in that case, you hang in there. How do I deal with low engagement? I think I've had the notification sound is there again. Thank you so much. Right. Can you help me put it on DND? Just swipe down to the notification. No, on the phone. So did you press record on the camera? Yes. Just help me. Alright. You can put it like that. Thank you so much. So I was talking about how I deal with low engagement. I think over the years, my relationship with engagement has actually grown. At the point I am, I don't think I bother so much about the engagement, right? I like positive engagement because it tells me what works, and I try to double down on what works. But as pertaining to having that emotional connection with engagement, I think I've learned to get past that because I understand my journey. I understand where I am. I understand where I'm going. Do you understand? So there are rare cases where I put a lot of effort into a video and the engagement is low. I just go and sleep. Just go and sleep and come back the next day. I'll probably feel better. So I'll go to the next question. Alright, you're asking. The next question says, have you ever felt like quitting your creator career? Have you ever felt like quitting your creator career? I don't know how strong that feeling has gotten. Like, I've not come to the point of resolving to quit, but I've felt tempted to. Why don't I just focus on school? Why don't I? It's so stressful, right? And why don't I just give up? And here's the thing. I think at the end of the day, my why, overshadows whatever. My why overshadows whatever feeling of giving up there is. Do you get? So a couple of times I would feel like even this week was pretty crazy for me. It was pretty interesting in the opposite way. And there were points where I felt lack of purpose in what I was doing, right? And it's funny because usually you have this feeling at the tail end of something, right? I'm ending Kreate, and I started feeling that lack of purpose. But what just, what, brought it all around for me is that at the end of the day, when I go back to my drawing board and I look at the reason why I started this in the first place, I think it pushes me forward, right? So that's why having a strong why at the beginning. My why, the first why is because, I believe that this thing is in line with my purpose, right? It's God ordained. Do you understand? It's something that God has created me to do. And I even see that there are periods of times where I go without creating, and there's just this itch. You know how, there's a way God will give you something and there's an itch, there's a desire. It's like you won't be doing any other thing. Let me tell you, if I was locked up in an island somewhere, I don't think I don't think I won't find a way to create, you understand? So I believe it's deeply intertwined with my, my purpose and my why. So that's what keeps me going. The next question says, let me know if I'm answering the question as well. What do you do when you don't feel like continuing anymore? What do I do when I don't feel like? Number one, I go back to my why. Why did I start this, right? Number two, sometimes I take a break. To reflect, and I try another approach, right? I try to simplify things. I try to make it easy for me, Thank you so much. Thank you. And I try to simplify it. Honestly, the thing I do varies, and it varies because ultimately what I do is that I'm a Christian and I bring everything back to the feet of my Father, right? I tell my Father how I'm feeling, and I get, support from my family members, my amazing brothers, my mother, my father, my amazing family. They are always supportive, right? There are people that I could go to with this conversation. So I think you definitely need a support system. It's very important. A support system. One thing that just keeps me going is my support system, right? If there's a day that I don't feel like doing Create 30 and I don't feel like, showing up that day, I have people that are going to ask me, Isaac, what happened today? I have like 5 people in my DM that are already going to ask me and are going to encourage me and all this, right? So build a support system, right? How do you build? First of all, if you need a support system, Create Community is an amazing support system. Create Community doesn't just end, with Create 30. Create Community continues. So that is an amazing support system. So you need a support system to continue. The next question is, what's my biggest flex? I love this question so much. What's my biggest flex as a content creator? Or rather, what gives me the most satisfaction as a content creator? My biggest flex is Create 30 Day 30 is one of my biggest flex. Events like this, when I decide to do something and I commit to doing it and I reach the end, there's nothing more fulfilling than saying you are going to do something and actually seeing it through. And another thing that is my big, that's a flex for me is when God gives me an idea and I actually execute it. Like last year we had Create Conference. Create Conference was amazing. We had speakers I could not imagine. Right? We had God Backed Guy on Create Conference. We had Samuel John. We had amazing speakers that I would have never imagined would have had. Right? And it all started with an idea, with an inspiration. Do you know the funny thing? If you have that inspiration and you decide not to do it, nobody is going to know. Nobody is going to know. It's only heaven that knows, the impact that thing, you would have committed to would have made. Nobody is going to know. So that's, the fact that God has helped me to be audacious so far, that's my biggest flex. That's my biggest flex, because in everything I do, every new obstacle I surmount, there's so much I'm learning from it. And I know, and I'm very sure that there comes a day where I'm standing on a big stage and I'm asked this kind of question and it's still going to be the same thing, right? The journey. I'm so excited about the journey. That is why at this point I don't think metrics, which metrics are information, right? When you see number of likes, number of views, all those things are information. They're information for you to take action on. And the more videos I even put out, the more information I have to take action. So I don't see it bigger than information. So my biggest flex is not even, I think the camera stopped recording. My biggest flex is not even a metric. It's not, oh, I got so number of views on this video. I think I've had some big breaks. I've had, couple of thousand views on some videos, but I don't even think about them on a normal day. When I think about, oh, what am I so excited about, things that come to my mind, Kreate conference, Kreate, just the fact that there was a day I did a streak for like 30 days on Instagram with my blue sweater, the blue hoodie era. The blue hoodie era. Who can remember the blue hoodie era? So I'll be like, let's be real. When I look back at those videos, there are so many things I would have done better, but I'm so proud of myself. So these are what makes up my big flexes. What gives me satisfaction? What gives me satisfaction is when I conceive something. Do you know how amazing it is for you to conceive something from an idea? Something is just an idea and it becomes a real tangible thing, right? Like whether it's as small as a video idea or a whole, maybe program like Kreate, like it was just an idea. It was just an idea and it has become a real tangible thing. That's a flex for me, Sha. I feel so fulfilled when I see things like that. The next question says, how do you manage being a creator and a medical student? This is a very interesting question. How do I manage being a creator and a medical student? The first thing is that is prioritization. It just sums up to prioritization. And what prioritization means for me is I have to understand in my creator journey, in my content creator journey, in my medical school journey, what is the most important thing here? What is the most important thing here? How do I prioritize it, right? So for example, in school, right? This is a very tricky question actually. But there are periods in school where I would not focus so much on content creation. I'll focus more on school. Maybe we have a test or exam is approaching, right? I focus on that. And I focus on aspects of school that would help me in the long run, like having deep understanding of concepts rather than just memorization, Basically, now God the runner. That's what I'll say. Basically, now God the runner. But I think it's about prioritization, right? Priorities. There are certain sacrifices, I might have to make. Maybe I might not spend as much time doing fun stuff in quotes. But I think, this is fun as well to me. Thank you, Mom. Oh my God, thank you, Mom. My mom has been one of the biggest fans. She has followed every day without fail. And, some of you as well. I'm going to do shout outs at the end, so just, hold on for that. How do you cope with discouragement and zero support from family? As you see my mom in the live stream, I don't think as a person, I have faced zero support from family. My family have been so supportive. Ever since I was, I think, 14, 15 years old, that I picked up my mom's phone and I decided to, it was even this particular building. It was an uncompleted building then, and I would climb to the top floor and snap the sunset and go downstairs and snap stones and sand. They were all supportive. My younger brother has always been around. If you see my story sometimes, right now he's holding my lights for me. They've always been supportive. But if your family is not supportive of your, they feel maybe it's a distraction or they are not supportive, I would say to an extent you have to also have these conversations with them, right? Because they are your family. You can't let what you're doing, come in the way of your, relationship with your family. You have to have these conversations. Tell them why you're so passionate about it. Express yourself. And if at the end of the day they are still not supportive, you might have to find support elsewhere. Right? You might have to find support elsewhere. You might have to be part of communities. I have to hang around other people that are, doing similar stuff that would You know, you need a support system. You definitely need a support system. So, welcome, Chief Samuel. Welcome, Samuel. Thank you so much for joining the stream. So, I'm going to answer a few more questions and then we'll move on. Ooh, I still have a couple of questions. At what point do you start doing live streams? Is it wise on less than 10 subscribers? At what point do you start doing live streams? Is it wise on, you know, for less than 10 subscribers? I'll say I don't think live streams are, you know, dependent on, live streams are a format in themselves, right? It's like you post a video. It's like asking, when do you start posting videos? Is it wise to post videos less than 10 subscribers? Live stream is a format. As much as videos are formats, shorts are formats, long form videos are formats, live streams are also formats, right? So honestly, the reason, you know, the reason you might be asking this question is that you have some reservations, right? Like, but let me tell you something. You don't need permission to create. You don't need permission to create. You don't need, you know, a council of people to say, oh, it's okay to create before you create. If you want to do a live stream, go ahead and do it. Let's not take it. If you want to do a live stream, go ahead and do it. Right? Am I promising you that your first live stream will be perfect? No. It's possible that you mumble and, you know, but the good thing is that on your first live stream, it's possible that nobody will see it. You get it? So ultimately, as a beginner creator, I think the most important thing is for you as a person to grow. And I think that's, you know, something powerful my dad told me, even just today. You know, the emphasis is on personal development, right? You grow as a person, because when you become valuable, you will attract people. There are people online you follow, you don't know them from Adam, you don't know them from Jack. You follow them because they have built themselves, they are valuable. Do you understand? So if live stream is the way to go, you know, okay, it's dead. Wow. That's interesting. How do you do this? Alright, so definitely start your live stream. How do you build the confidence to do a live stream? Let me tell you something. Go and watch my first video. That's the answer. Go and watch my first video. You build the confidence by doing. You just start. Like Nike will say, just do it. I don't think you might be able to do it. Yeah. Like Nike will say, just start. Just do it, right? Just do it. So just do it. And you know, this is actually a big roadblock for many people. That's that, you know, resistance to start. But ultimately, you can only be a beginner, you know, for a period of time. Everybody that, you know, you see that is big started somewhere. So don't be afraid to start. Start definitely. Imagine if after all the effort someone puts into content creating, they realize it's not their calling. How do they grapple with a reality like that? They realize it's not their calling. So one thing I see content creation as, I don't see content creation as the end. I see it as a means to an end. Right? I'm a content creator, yes, but I have a message. There's a change I want to see in the world. There's something I want to do in the world. And content creation is a tool for accomplishing that thing. Your purpose is not tied to a job description. Your purpose is not tied to a tool you are using. Your purpose is actually, you know, the thing you are born to do. That thing that if you don't do, nothing else matters. Do you understand? So if content creation in itself is not the purpose, do you understand? So what I would say is that in the period that you are being a content creation, you are learning a lot. You are just learning too many skills at the same time. You are learning public speaking. Oh, thank you. Actually, thank you, Mr. McElvin. Actually have help already. Thank you. You're learning a lot of skills. You're learning content, public speaking. You know, if you go and watch my first video, like I keep saying, and watch my video now, I'm able to speak at least fluently, right? I'm able to speak eloquently, at least to a degree, right? You know, I could be so much better, but I've gotten so far, right? And all these skills are essential. You're learning resilience, because trust me, it's not easy for you to, you know, post consistently or create consistently or do something like Kreate. It's not easy at all. But you know, learning, you're growing as a person. So the most important thing is that you learn so much, you grow so much. I cannot guarantee you that in the next 30 years I think I would still be creating, but it is possible that God will tell me, okay, in this period of your life, focus on this. But I'll never regret for one day that I started this journey, because I've learned so much. I'm simply a better person because of it. I'm even a better leader. I'm a better person all around. Did you personally feel like giving up at some point in your career? I think I answered that. And how did I overcome it? I think primarily I mentioned two things. Your relationship with God. Your relationship with God is not limited to church or just your prayer time in a religious sense, but it's all encompassing, right? So when you feel like giving up on something like this, you definitely can take it to your Father. And He has given us the gift of men. So have support systems, family, friends, people you can speak up with and speak to. If you speak to Isaac, he probably have a word or two for you. So definitely imagine everything. I imagine people around you encouraging and supportive to your content creating life. If so, what would you say to people that don't have that level of support? I think I answered something similar, but I'll just give an abridged answer. And look at your camera. Alright, I'll just give an abridged answer. I don't get what you're saying, Precious. What's happening to my camera? An abridged answer is that you can find support in communities, right? You can find support in communities. But even in seasons where you don't have support, you can depend on the Holy Spirit. You can depend on the Holy Spirit. But ultimately, you can find community. And if you don't have community, join Kreate community. Click the link in the description. Whew. Alright, we're done with the Q&A. Amazing. So we're going to do something. I'll just, in the next 2 minutes, share my experience so far in Kreate with Kreate. And I think, from the conversations we've had so far, you already have an idea of how it has been. For anyone that doesn't know, I received an instruction at the beginning of the year. It was last year, right? And it was actually a dream I had.